Okay, well, hi everyone. Um, so first things first. Yeah, I'm playing Rec Room again. Um, so for those unaware, I did say I would quit Rec Room, but I'm back for reasons that I will talk about in the future. I have a couple other videos I'd like to make in the future as well, but again, that'll be saved for uh for the future. Um, Second off, before I say anything else, this video is going to be about furries. And I would just like to ask that you keep comments respectful. I'd like to ask that you keep your feedback respectful. I understand that you might have negative biases about furries. I totally understand that. And I respect that you might dislike them. But as a furry myself, and also as an adult, um, I am honestly not really willing to put up with petty fights, things like that in my comments. I'm here to be a kind voice of reason in these times. And I just genuinely really hope that, rather than being a voice of negativity and hatred, I come off more as like a voice of reason and a voice of care. Um, Not necessarily to challenge people's, mindset stereotypes of furries, but just to give my experiences of being a furry and to show that the furry fandom is a good place, despite the negatives about the fandom. And if you might have internalized hatred of furries, or you might just dislike furries just because of what you've been taught and what you've fed yourself over the years, I hope genuinely sincere that if you are one of those people that is watching this video, that instead of leaving a negative comment on mine or other people's videos, that you will reconsider and you will learn to be a little bit more thoughtful in the future when it comes to looking at other people, because you might not know what they've gone through. You might not know whether or not they are furry themselves. You may not know why they're in the fandom in the first place. Um, so moving on from that point, yes, hello, hi. I'm Chimera Bites. And I am looking a little bit different today. I'm also a different spot than usual. I am working on a private room for recording in the future. And also, this video is unscripted, so there might be some kerfluffles. Um, so please just be patient with me as this video goes on. But I hope that this video will just, give you a little bit of insight as to my thought process and to, how things are in my brain. So yeah. So, what is this first suit that I'm wearing? Who is this character? So this is Maisie. Maisie is my new persona. They are a maned wolf and cat hybrid. Also, Maisie uses exclusively they, it pronouns. Um, Maisie is non-binary transmasc. They are specifically a new choice. Transmasc. And I ship them with Mafioso from Dream Game. Although I might also ship them with other official characters. You might be able to see some of the characters in this area right here. Like you might see Sanford and Damos over there. And I see like a little party goer over here from the back rooms. And I have some more plushies. In fact, let's take a look around in my room in this and see like some of the plushies. Like I have 1X, Mafioso, G1 Starscream, and I have Chance. But yeah, so anyways, I will probably give a better tour of this later once it's fully finished because it's not fully done yet. I still need some time to construct this place. It'll be worked on in the coming weeks, probably months maybe. I might take to work on this because again, player come again, I need to reteach myself how to make stuff in this game. Going from being a 2D artist to being a quasi 3D artist is a bit weird, but listen, we make do, okay? But that's not the focus of this video. The focus of this video is me talking about furries and my persona and being a furry. So, what is a furry? Why would someone want to be a furry? What is the fandom even like? You know? What's the point of being a furry? You know? I'm gonna try to answer as many questions as I can in this video. If I can. From my perspective, at least. So, first off, What defines a furry is simply anyone who has a shared interest in anthropomorphic creatures. Media like Care Bears, My Little Pony, Bluey, Ratchet and Clank, Beastars, Brand New Animal. Any media really that has anthropomorphic characters in it could constitute being accepted, being like kind of like part of like the furry fandom focus. There are even like furry, it's like even things that furries like that might not even be like furry centric that might feature furry characters or might not even have any furry characters at all. That furries might still really enjoy. For example, I love Die of Death. Devesto and Artful, my favorite characters. I love Madness Combat, Sanford and Damus, my favorite characters. And neither of them are furry centric at all. Not one bit. So yeah. So yeah. The furry fandom basically just has, like I said, as I'm repeating myself here a little bit, I'm sorry, but yeah, the furry fandom basically is just a fandom that has a shared interest in anthropomorphic animals. Characters that share humanoid characteristics, like, talking, being capable of sentient, sapient thought, walking, like thoughts and emotions, things like that. Nothing like real animals, obviously. I mean, even like real animals, even some animals are only really capable of like basic use of tools and like mimicry of speech at best. So yeah. But we can like imagine worlds where there are animals that, are basically humans that just like have fur. And it's like more like, animals. But are like, animals that have human characteristics basically. And it might surprise you to hear this, but the furry fandom has been around since like the 70s and 80s. Possibly even longer than that. It's the fandom has been around for a very long time. Assuming it's like 2026, yeah, that's like a very long time. Might not seem like so to some people who might have been born in those times or before that, but again, long time. People have depicted anthropomorphic animals and creatures for a very long time in many mythos, for example. For example, in Egyptian mythos, many of the deities have anthropomorphic characteristics such as Ra and Anubis, and also Bastet. There are also some of the mythos that tend to posture anthropomorphic creatures in their mythos, such as many various indigenous cultures mythos as well. But these are all very loose examples. So yes, for a very long time, a lot of people basically been furries, or have like had tendencies to be acclimated to anthropomorphic creatures or identities. It's not a new thing. And a lot of people have been brought together for their shared love and care for these for this identity. And it's a fandom. It's a lifestyle for some. It really is it's what you make it to be. For some people, it's a casual, and for some people, it's their whole life. I talked about self-shipping in a previous video. It's kind of similar to that for me, where it's something that is one of the key things that I revolve my life around, or that my life revolves around, rather, being a furry. It goes hand in hand, I'd say, with me being ultra-human, which is a video, again, I plan to make in the future. My personas tend to be based on my sometimes tend to be based on my stereotypes. Like I said previously in introducing this character, Maisie is an anthropomorphic maned wolf and cat hybrid. So yeah. And you would also be surprised to know that a lot of furries are into STEM. You know, science, technology, engineering, mathematics. Yeah, STEM. There are plenty of STEM schools throughout the world, basically. STEM, I think, is mainly a US thing, but I'm not too sure about that. I'm sure like there are many STEM based schools throughout the entirety of the world. I actually went to a STEM high school, and that's like the barest ones I'm willing to give about my private life. And also, quite a lot of furries are autistic and queer. And I think that the furry fandom draws in so many of people who are already have like specific idiosyncrasies, these specific things in their life, because the furry fandom is built off of acceptance of the other. And when we ourselves are othered, it's easy to look towards a group that is built off of being othered, even when we ourselves feel othered by the group that is meant to accept us. Like, I myself feel a bit weird as a queer person and as a self-shipper, and you know, as a disabled person, especially as a both physically and mentally disabled person. And the furry fandom looks at me and goes, "You know what? You fit right in with us. You know, you're welcome. You're welcome here, just like everyone else is." And I think that's the magic of being a furry, is that everyone is welcome. Sometimes that can be taken and twisted, you know, to nefarious ends. I won't deny that. And this video isn't meant to be like, oh, like, you know, things all sunshine and rainbows, because that's not the case. There are definitely bad things that happen in the fandom. I'm not going to deny that. That's definitely true. That this fandom does kind of suck sometimes, I'm not going to lie. Like, there are sometimes people who get very popular that are very bad actors in the fandom that use the fandom as a way to scapegoat their crimes. I'm not going to deny that. But this is not the video for me to talk about that. There are a lot of amazing people who have done a lot of amazing things in the fandom that are also furries. For example, Casey the Sloth, who is a gamer and a streamer, and she very, very, very frequently promotes indie games in the sphere. Boozy Badger, he is a lawyer. He frequently, you know, he frequently represents people in the court of law. Chise is, you know, she's in the medical field, and she actually was responsible for the Moderna vaccine. Which, whether or not you believe that vaccines save lives, which I really hope that you do agree with me that they do, in fact, save lives. But this is not, again, the video for that kind of debate. She also very frequently posts, like every day, she's frequently posting news about advances made in the medical field. And these are just some examples. There are many, many, many other prominent furries in various fields that are like very, very, very like, again, very prominent names that happen to be furries. And I highly recommend that you go and check them out and maybe check other people out if you're so inclined. There are also like a lot of artists in the fandom, a lot of musicians in the fandom. Cassidy Civet, Violet Pony, just to name a few. A lot of furries tend to make like EDM type music, but there are also like furries that make other kinds of music, but the vast majority of them make EDM. Goji's another example of mine as well. That again also makes EDM, but again, I think it's because the furry fandom is already very eccentric. I felt a lot of eccentric individuals, and there's like a big like culture of like love and unity taken from rave culture in the furry fandom, because we're already outcasts within outcasts. So, you know, because a lot of our nightlife is taken from the dark side of the dark, you know, taken from the nightlife, like raving. I think it makes sense that a lot of furries in the fandom do, a lot of musicians in the fandom do make like EDM, But there are also furries that don't make that kind of music, but the vast majority of them do like make EDM from what I have seen. I will say electro music is awesome. But again, also Fentanyl. Fentanyl is very, very, very popular. She even has the skin in Forsaken. A lot of people confuse her persona token for being a gubby, but she's not a gubby. It's her own personal persona. Um, but yeah. So again, this is all to say that there are a lot of amazing, wonderful furries in the fandom that you may or may not know that are very big names in the fandom. That also happen to be furries. And again, for some people, being a furry is a hobby. For some people, it's a lifestyle. For some people, it's inseparable to their identity. For some people, it's just a casual thing. For me, just like self-shipping, it makes me a part of who I am. And being a furry helps me feel accepted. It helps me come to terms with, what I am and who I am. But yeah, so again, I really hope that you enjoyed my rambles, me talking about the furry fandom and all of that. You'll be seeing more from me in the future. If you did enjoy this video, I would suggest that, just be kind to yourself and others, do something for you, and just stay safe and take care. Stay cozy out there. I'm Chimera Bites, aka Maisie in the fursuit, and I hope that you have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day or night, whatever time it is that you're watching this. See ya, and stay safe.